Okay, so welcome back to another 61 movies of Halloween review. I'm having a lot of fun going through some new horror movies I haven't seen this month, as is the one that Adam and I just watched, which was The Good Son. You've been wanting me
Good son.
Yeah, you've been wanting me to watch this for a while.
I've been telling you about this movie for a long time.
Yes, you have, and I thought since it's October, I thought now is like the best time ever to watch a movie like this because, like, before we actually get into the movie, Adam, before we actually get into the movie, I want to talk about this subgenre of horror, this like this killer children. I want to talk about this killer children subgenre. What are your thoughts on it?
The killer's children subgenre.
Yeah.
Well,
I
you got,
don't know
you
if
got.
it's actually.
I think you got like The Omen, Orphan.
Yeah.
There's a few other ones called. I think like old school ones called. I think Bad Seed.
Yes, Bad Seed. Yes. Yeah.
Yep. As
But
far as like,
there are quite a few movies out there.
yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a lot of killer like children movies.
No, like for me, I think Orphan is one of the best. I think Orphan is one of the best when it comes
Yeah.
to like killer children movies. I think that movie,
Yeah.
like that movie captured, I guess, I guess what goes on inside the mind of these people, and like this, like it's focused strictly on children. Well, I think that is a very daring line, because like this movie is a great example, Good Son, where if you were to tell an adult that like that, holy shit, your son is a murderer, he is a killer, like they would not believe you.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
that kind of happened in Orphan as well. And this movie,
Yep.
you and I, like, there's a lot of scenes in here, I would say, that I can compare to Orphan.
Yep.
Because there's the highway scene, and that felt to me just very Orphan, like that whole like treehouse scene. That felt like
Yeah.
something straight from
That's
Orphan.
that exactly. That's something that Esther would do. Remember the scene in Orphan where she takes the little girls inside the car and she changes gears in the car and lets it roll down the hill?
Yes.
That's kind of similar. It's like let's see what happens type of
Mm,
thing.
yes, exactly. Yeah.
They're doing something wrong, and they can't wait to see the aftermath.
Yes, exactly. Which that is something that we have to get into about Good Son. And I think to actually introduce this movie, we have to talk about our front star, our main star of this movie, Macaulay Culkin. Holy shit! Holy
Kevin
shit!
McAllister.
Yeah, Kevin McAllister from Home Alone is in this movie, and he is he's a psychotic little fucker.
Yeah, Macaulay Culkin does a really good job playing a
He does.
psycho killer.
He does.
You will never watch Home Alone the same again.
Yeah, no. After I watch this movie, I don't feel like I will never be able to watch Home Alone and think, is that just Kevin McAllister, or is there like this different side to it? Was there like this different side to him?
Yeah.
That's what I will think when I watch Home Alone. Is I'll think there's this more evil, sinister side to him, and yeah, I've got to give a massive praise to Macaulay Culkin.
Even the quote on my DVD, it says, edge of your seat thriller.
Yeah, that is a perfect quote. That really sums up. That really sums up this movie.
This movie is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it is. So let's get into our reasons for why. But yeah, like Macaulay Culkin, like he does such a great job at playing the innocence of a child, but then also playing like the psychotic and the killing spree, I guess, side of him.
Yeah, he's putting off like he's all this innocent kid. He's just a normal kid, blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
we know, I mean, spoiler alert, we know that he's done some fucked up shit. He's drowned his baby brother.
Mm.
He's he
Uh,
almost killed his sister.
yes. So
He
yeah,
he uh he's done
he
some fucked
caused
up shit.
yeah, he injured like maybe 15 to 20 like people on the road, maybe even killed some people then. It would not surprise me the amount like the lineup of cars there. It would not surprise me if people did die. If they didn't die, they would have been seriously injured.
Yeah. The first red flag I think is when they're climbing up the treehouse and Elijah Wood slips and falls and he's holding him and he says, if I let you go, do you think you could fly?
Yes, yeah, that was
That's like the
such
first red flag. Like this kid's
yeah.
disturbed.
Yeah. And it's the other thing is that I really liked about his performance, which to me it was more effective in this movie than most, is after the scene where all of the cars line up with each other, like you see Elijah Wood's face expression, then you see Macaulay Culkin's, and it's like it's
Yeah,
two set. Like
such a
Macaulay Culkin,
contrast. It's a
yeah,
contrast because
it is,
Elijah Wood's like, holy shit, what do we do? Meanwhile,
yeah,
Macaulay Culkin's like, hell yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Every car that gets hit, he's like smiling even more.
Yes, exactly. So it's like his character gets off to violence. It's getting off to
Yes.
seeing other people getting hurt, and to me,
Yep.
like that really defines like this whole subgenre.
Yep.
It was much more effective because as you said it's like it's a contrast of like of actually seeing the actual disaster play out and then seeing I guess like a person or a kid who has a loving and caring soul and then we have another person who's just like yeah, kill these people, you know.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
Macaulay Culkin, he's watching every car that smashes. He's like getting more excited. Like he's like,
Yes.
yeah. Meanwhile, Elijah
Yeah.
Wood's like, what the fuck did we do?
Exactly. Yeah. So that I thought
It's
was
so
an
good,
excellent scene. Yeah, that
so
I thought
good.
was another red
Mr.
flag.
Highway, Mr.
Yeah,
Highway.
Mr. Highway. Yeah, Mr. Highway. Yeah, but at the same time, like that is a prank gone wrong at its worst. I would
Yeah,
say
yeah. That's
because
definitely that's not even a prank anymore. That's just fucking that's a felony or
mm,
whatever. You know,
mm,
pranks are like fun. Pranks are like fucking. You fucking fart while somebody's eating or like stupid
yes,
shit like that. Like funny pranks,
yeah,
practical jokes,
and
practical
like
jokes.
the other thing about that scene that I found really disturbing is the fact that um was it is the fact that like from the car's perspective, like it looks like someone is about to jump. It looks like
Well,
a real
yeah,
person.
that's why everybody slams on their brakes because they think somebody fell
Exactly.
off the bridge.
Yeah, but like the people in the car, like they don't know what we know. They don't know that it's just a mannequin dressed
Yeah.
up to look like a man.
Yep.
So that I felt was just like so like there's so much disturbing content in this movie. Like if you really I guess like if you really unbox it all, there is a lot of disturbing layers to Macaulay Culkin's character.
He is a very disturbing character. Let's talk about the ice skating scene.
Yes, okay. What did you think of it?
It's it's hard to watch. Obviously spoilers. People
Of
that
course. Oh yeah, like
people,
I'll put it in the title.
yeah, it's definitely spoilers.
And
So
and this
Macaulay
movie came out
Culkin,
in 1993 anyways as well.
yeah, 94.
Yeah, right. Okay, 94
But
then, yeah.
anyway, the point is, a long ass time ago, you have to have seen this movie. Well, you didn't see this movie, but point
Yeah.
is, majority of people have seen this movie. It's been out for a long time.
Yes.
So Macaulay Culkin is at an ice skating rink. not an ice skating rink. He's at a pond that's frozen over. Everybody's skating, having fun. He's with his little sister, and he's like pulling her along, and there's like a barrier for like the thin ice where you're not supposed to go past, and he swings her right purposely into that thin ice area, and just lets her fly into that, and then she gets sucked under the water, and then he goes to try and help her, but you can see it in his face. He's not even trying. He's just like holding his hand out there like this, like almost taunting her.
Yes, that was disturbing. That was so, because I mean, it's like, and that's another thing about his character that I like, but I also hate the fact that he is so damn good at manipulating and making people believe he is the good guy. He's so good at that. Like, and this all comes down to how Macaulay Culkin like portrays this performance, and he outdoes himself in this movie. He is phenomenal in everything.
A great job.
This is probably one of my favorite performances from him.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But you can tell in that ice pond scene that he has his hand out.
He's like getting off, like watching her drown. You know, he's like, I can help you, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what he's doing there. And I thought it's that whole idea of just like listen, like even
he's just watching her drown, like being miserable and fucking drowning. He gets off on that.
Yes. Yeah. Which that's another thing that I do want to talk about. This movie doesn't answer all the questions, which I've like throughout this month so far. I've seen a lot of horror movies that does that exact formula of it tells us what the question is, but it doesn't explain it to us. I thought this movie did that really well in the way where we don't know why Macaulay Culkin is like this. We don't know how he can see like another person die, like another human being just like him, like die in front of his eyes. How does that not affect him? How does he laugh at that? How does he smile at seeing that?
There's no emotion in his eyes at all. He's just barely hanging his hand out there, like, oh yeah, I'll help you. Grab my hand. No, he's twisted, dude. Any other person would be like, throwing their hand out there, grab my fucking hand, hand.
Of course, yeah.
But he's like putting his hand out there like 2 inches away from her, so she can barely get his hand.
Yeah,
like taunting her.
Yes, it's
so fucked up.
Like all of those scenes in that movie where like something bad happens, there's like a psychological element. There's something underneath it that is more disturbing than what you're actually seeing.
Yeah.
In this movie, I wouldn't define as a horror. I feel like this is more of a psychological thriller, kind of like Seven.
Yeah, it's like a psychological thriller. I wouldn't call it a horror. I mean, I guess you could put it in the horror genre, but it's more of a psychological thriller.
Yeah, because it's not really scary. Like it's scary in the way that this kid is doing horrific things. It's scary in that way, but it doesn't really have that. It's not really like The Omen or Orphan, which you can tell those movies are horror, like for sure. This movie feels more like a thriller because it has very like low violence, and it has there's no like kid like in Pet Cemetery that goes around with a knife and stabbing people. You remember the kid in Pet Cemetery at the end of that movie?
The remake or the original?
The original.
Oh yeah, when the kid comes back and he has the scalpel.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so like that is that is horror. Like that's kind of that's almost crossing. I would say almost crossing the line of becoming a slasher, maybe because like in a way
more like psychological.
Yeah, like psychological thriller.
Mind.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Suspense thriller.
Yeah. And now, one thing I'm sure you would want to talk about here is the ending, the final shot of this movie.
Oh my god, the ending is so powerful. Like, what do you do when you're in that fucking opportunity? Like, the mother. I guess we can describe it to our viewers if there's any people watching.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've only been recording for 15 minutes, and so it wouldn't. I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
people are still watching.
Hopefully somebody stuck around.
Hopefully, hopefully.
So what happens is Macaulay Culkin and Elijah Wood are on a cliff. Well, first Macaulay Culkin brings his mother out there to talk to her about stuff. He's manipulating her and like being all innocent and stuff. And then he pushes her over the cliff, and she like grabs like a tree or something, crawls back up, and then Elijah Wood shows up, and they start wrestling each other. And then once the mother gets up on top of the cliff, she's
Yeah,
able to hold both of those kids, Elijah Wood and Macaulay Culkin, and she only has the strength. She's only able to pull one of them up. She can't pull them both up.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
So she has to decide: do I let my son die, or do I let my nephew die?
Yes, that
And it's
is a
hard. It's
really.
hard
It's
because
hard. It's hard.
the nephew is a good person, and the son is an evil person. So it kind of like how do you decide? But in the end,
Exactly. Yeah.
she lets Kevin McAllister go, and he splats all over the rocks.
I love how you can refer to him as Cal McAllister. I love that. I love that.
Yeah,
Um,
but she did. She let him go. She had
yeah,
to.
and then you
Which
see his dead body on the
I
rocks.
think it was a good decision. It was a
Oh,
good
same
decision.
here. Same
I would
here.
have to do the same
Um,
thing.
yeah, because like
He
he
was
was
evil.
gonna.
He was fucking
Yeah,
evil.
yeah. You've got to think about it this way. He was going to push his mother off the cliff. So
Yeah,
if he did survive, he would have just done that, and then he would
yeah.
have lived on until
He
someone.
tried to push her over there.
Yeah.
That's how she fell on the cliff and was climbing back up. He tried
Yes.
pushing her over the cliff.
Yeah,
So
and then he was going to like throw a rock down at her face, like before Elijah Wood came in and stopped him.
yeah,
Yeah, that was just system. Like there's just so many questionable questionable I guess studies to be done about his character in this movie.
yeah. But as a mother, can you imagine just looking into your son's eyes and like knowing that if you let him go, he's gonna die? That's your son. Like you're a mother. That's your son. That's your child. And then you have Elijah Wood, which is still family, but it's not the same thing as your son. You know, the
Yeah.
son that you raised, that you grew,
Yes.
that you changed his diapers and fucking fed him baby food, and like that's your son.
Yes. Yeah,
But it
I see what you
hurts you. It
mean.
hurts you in the head because he's evil.
Yes. Yeah, and so it's like I feel like in that situation you have to kind of think, well, would I much rather take the chance of my son living and then him killing me like a few hours from now, or would I much rather save the one who will, I guess, in a way, bring peace to the family? I think in a
Yeah,
way.
bring peace. Yeah, I would have let go of my son if I had to. I mean, when it comes down to it,
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean,
even though
he,
that's hard to say. I mean, that's fucked up. That's your
yeah,
son. But
it is.
if I had a
Yes.
choice, that's what I would do.
Yeah, it's but yeah, that ending. It's just like it's so like if I'm being honest, I was gripping my seat watching that scene. It was so intense. Like the final like 5 minutes of this movie are intense to watch.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just I was so like on the edge of my seat when just watching that scene. There's just so many scenes throughout this movie that really just get to your mind. Just it's just so tense, just seeing that kind of happen and the way it unfolds and the execution of it is I think is really good. And this maybe I don't think you and I have talked about this yet. I want to talk about it quickly. Is the build up. The build up to it.
Yeah, it's very slow. It's slow, but
it's a slow movie.
You need that.
Of course, for this type of movie, like at first, as I said to you, I thought this movie was very
Boring.
slow. Like it was very boring for me.
Yeah.
But then once I saw what it was building to, I was just like, oh, so like the first two acts are there to kind of give like some human to this character, and then when you get to the evil stuff, it's just like, well, there's this. He's acting. He's a great actor.
Yep.
Like as this character, like he knows how to really get in people's minds and make them think what they don't want to think.
Yep.
So I loved it. I really did enjoy this movie quite a bit. How about you? How many times have you seen this movie?
Oh my god, at least 20, probably 20 times in my lifetime.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. Like I can understand why. I can understand why.
It's that good. It's that good.
It is a good movie. It's I don't hear this movie talked about like much at all. It needs to be.
You never hear this movie. That's what I said. It's so underrated. Like people don't appreciate it. Like nobody has heard of this movie.
Yes, and like
but it's so good.
Yes, it needs to be talked about more.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's a very good movie, and I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Well, what would you give this movie out of 10?
Out of 10, okay. Probably an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10? That's where I was going to, like an 8.
Yeah, because like it's like the movie, as much as the build up was good, it was very boring. It did take a while for me to get engaged into it. Like if it had like a more interesting setup to it, maybe I would have probably taken this to a 9. But just due to like this movie wasn't really engaging for me for the first 40 minutes, I'm gonna stay with an 8.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8 as well. Have a good day.
See you guys.